Hey, this is Bill Steffen. Thanks for coming on board today. Something crazy happened this afternoon. I mean, literally crazy. Yuma, Arizona picked up more rain in a half an hour than they had had this entire year so far. Isn't that amazing? Up until this afternoon, they had had 21 hundredths of an inch of rain. And within an hour's time, they picked up about half an inch. On the day, they had 86 hundredths. That was quite obviously for them a daily record. They only average about 3 inches of rain, actually less than that, less than 3 inches of rain per year. So they had a nice thunderstorm come through. It was there for a couple of hours and produced a good amount of rain. They still have flood warnings out there. Well, a quick hi to our Ottawa News Network viewers, listeners that are joining us today. Got a lot to talk about here. I want to start out by talking about Mount Rainier. If you want to find snow at the end of August, this is a good place to look for it. You can see one of the hiking trails down at the bottom, and there are a lot of people to go hiking in Mount Rainier National Park. But this is what it looked like today, and I believe that's kind of a south slope, and so you still get all of the snow and the glaciers there coming on down. That mountain, I believe, is 14,410 feet high, one of the tallest in the western United States. But interesting to see snow. We're only about 4 months away from Christmas here. Thought we'd take a look at the temperature outlook for the months of December, January, and February. This is from the National Weather Service, and it says it's going to be, we'll see above normal temperatures this winter in Florida and in parts of the southeast, east coast a little bit, but not very far above average. And above average out in the desert southwest as well, cooler than average up in the Pacific Northwest, and an equal chance for above and below. And as I mentioned before, with a lot of factors somewhat similar to last year, starting with just slightly below average snowfall, but still not a bad year for skiing. That's what it looks like to me at this point. But we'll take a more detailed look at that come October when it's getting closer. This is the precipitation or snowfall outlook, and you can see Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, Battle Creek in the above average category. And we've had a number of winters of late where there's been a kind of a precipitation maxima along the Ohio River. So that may be the case again this year. So we'll see if that's the case or not. We'll be following it. Hey, today was the coolest day that we've had in West Michigan since at least June the 10th, depending on where you are. We only made 70 in Grand Rapids for high temperatures, same in Kalamazoo and Ionia. Mount Pleasant picked up just a touch more sunshine and did boost their reading up to 72. Battle Creek at 69, South Haven Pier at 66, and the Muskegon Pier only 63 degrees. We had the beach statement in effect for people not wanting them to swim near the piers. There was virtually nobody swimming today. I was checking the cameras, and I hardly saw anybody up on the beach. So cool air made a big difference. All right, for August 26th, Tuesday, our sunrise is exactly at 7 o'clock. That's when the first tip of the sun comes up over a totally flat horizon, which you would not normally see. So you'd probably perceive the sunrise to be about 5 minutes after that. Sunset at 8:26, 13 hours and 26 minutes of daylight. We're still up at 80 and 60 for an average high and low, with our record high at 95 and 48 and 73, and the record low 42 in 1945. Take a look at the lake forecast and look at some of the water temperatures. I think there was a little upwelling at Grand Haven. Wow, 45 degrees was there. Now, a lot of these temperatures are measured during the very early morning, so right after sunrise when the shifts just first start getting there. But look at that. Ludington is behind the break wall, so it's a little bit warmer there. And Reed's Lake gone down some, but hanging in there at 74 degrees here. For Monday afternoon. Here's a severe weather threat, and look at this. It covers, there's no severe weather expected in terms of anything outside of just a random isolated little incident. They haven't outlined any areas even for a marginal risk, but there will be some scattered thunder showers in central and southern Florida, the Louisiana Bayou area, and then throughout a good portion of the West, all of Nevada, all of Utah, all of Arizona, pretty much all of New Mexico and Colorado, a good portion of Wyoming, almost all of Oregon under the gun for a possible thunder shower. A little bit of what happened here yesterday in terms of storm reports. There were 15 storm reports over the entire country. That's not a lot. 8 of them were in Arizona. 3 were in Southern California, so that's kind of unusual. Westmoreland, California, there was 4 semi-trucks flipped over there. Gust of 76 at Paris, California, 68 miles an hour at 29 Palms. All these places got rain. And Yuma topping the list again with 86/100 of an inch, almost an inch there. Imperial, California, that's out in the desert, had 1/3 of an inch, just a sprinkle at Las Vegas. And the temperature in Yuma, by the way, with that rain dropped from 102 to 73. So that's quite a drop. And it thunderstormed there for over 2 hours. So that's quite interesting. Okay, let's move on here. This is Tuesday, and you can see there's a little bit of light green over Michigan. So on this is actually for Wednesday, not Tuesday. I didn't update that. Wednesday night. Wednesday during the day, it should probably be dry here for a good portion of the day. All right, let's go on here. Here's where it's going to rain: Kansas, Oklahoma, and it's seldom that they get a day when they have just general thunderstorms, but no severe weather, and that could be the case tomorrow. But look at all the rain in the western United States. Look at all that green covering. That's over the next 2.5, 3 days here. There's going to be a lot of rain out there in the west. There's going to be some rain in South Texas and in Florida, where that cold front is pushed all the way on down. And a little bit of rain in Michigan. We'll take a look zoomed into Michigan here now and be able to show you that there'll be a little bit more rain off to the north, northern lower Michigan. But down here at the Grand Rapids area, they're still forecasting 1/10 of an inch or less. That may be a touch underdone, but in an overall dry pattern, be grateful for the rain that you get. And again, this will likely come during the day on Thursday. Okay, taking a look at the tropics, we have Tropical Storm Fernand, and once again, another tropical storm that is essentially missing land. It's turning up eastern Bermuda. We had Aaron turn up west of Bermuda and miss the United States. Fernand will fizzle out as a depression. By the way, there's still a huge cloud shield from what's left of Aaron, which is just a rainy low pressure system to the west of Iceland right now, but pretty amazing to see how big that is. All right, take a look at the eastern Pacific Ocean. We have Tropical Storm Juliet and 2 yellow hatched areas. Yellow means less than a 40% chance of developing, and I expect it to be less than a 20%. So we can kind of scratch out those yellow areas. But Juliet is moving off toward the west-northwest. It will likely weaken and essentially dissipate before it bothers Hawaii. So nothing much going on there. In the Western Pacific Ocean, we've got Typhoon Kajiki, which has come into Vietnam and produced some rain, some flooding, and some gusty winds have knocked down some tree branches there. There's a little disturbance there at 93W that we're watching. But other than that, it's been pretty quiet out there as well. Pretty quiet year last year for hurricanes out in the Western Pacific. Headlines: continued cool. Average high is 80. Will be only around 70 this afternoon for high. An isolated shower, but boy, really isolated. Most of you will get through the day without any rain. And if you get any, it really won't last more than just a few minutes. Partly sunny skies, mostly dry weather expected next weekend. So make your plans for the Labor Day weekend. Should be pretty good. So here's what the day looks like. High of 70, low of 50. Outlying areas will be in the 40s in the morning. Partly cloudy skies expected here. Just a 20% chance of a shower. Humidity drops to 45% in the afternoon, fairly low, and winds a little brisk in the afternoon, west-northwest at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Take a look at some specific high temperatures for today. Most inland areas 69 or 70, pretty much uniform lakeshore and inland about the same. And you can see up in the UP, it's going to be a cool day with temperatures there in that blue color only in the 60s. And then we move ahead to Wednesday and show you that we've got temperatures a couple degrees warmer. We should be back up around 73 or 74. 71 South Haven, 74 Ludington, 73 Traverse City. Chicago makes 77. Looks like they're the warmest temperature on the map. Next 5 days look like this. 20% chance of a shower today, so not much. Should be mostly sunny Wednesday. There'll be a chance of a shower again late Wednesday night and Thursday. And then we're back to sunshine here for Friday and Saturday as we start the Labor Day weekend. 80 is our average high. We go 70, 74, 71, 71, and 74, with a couple of days there seeing low temperatures only in the upper 40s. So rather cool pattern for us. Cool pattern should continue for much of the eastern half of the country. This is the long-range outlook out to 8 to 14 days for September 2nd through the 8th. It gives most of West Michigan near average temperatures, which would be about the mid-70s. So that would be pleasant. Some nice weather there. And in terms of rainfall, we're mostly in the near normal category here, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. But don't be surprised if we turn out just slightly below average in terms of rainfall for September 2nd through the 8th. Pretty good pattern up here. Finally got a cold front through Birmingham. Isn't that amazing? It's much weaker by the time it gets to Birmingham, but at least it turned the winds around a little bit.
It still feels hot around here for sure, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, if your average high temperature is like 88 and it's 85 instead of 88, that's a cool day, a relatively cool day, but still warm.
It'll be worth it come January.
Yeah, January average temperatures are mid-50s there, while it's upper 20s to around 30 here.
So we just got back from New Orleans. And this was one of my big vacation weeks from the airport. And we decided to do a driving trip because what can go wrong, right? You don't have flights that are going to get delayed or canceled or whatever. No, that is not what happened. So we first went to Starkville, Mississippi to have breakfast with my stepdaughter who goes to Mississippi State. And we got in the car after breakfast and the engine coolant warning came on and said, your engine coolant's really, really low. Your engine's going to overheat. And something was causing the car to just leak fluid everywhere, to leak coolant. So we couldn't take the car to New Orleans after that. So we left the car. We borrowed our stepdaughter's car for the weekend. And that was fine. So we made it to New Orleans and had a good time. But then the weekend was over and we still hadn't dealt with the car. So we drove it back to Starkville. I don't even want to think about how much the cost it's going to be to tow it from Starkville because they can't do the repair there. So to tow it back to Birmingham to have it repaired.
They can't do the repair in Starkville?
Not in a timely manner, no.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a wash. So we could either pay for a rental car for a long time or arrange to have it towed.
Wow.
So
that's a long tow. How long is that?
150 miles.
Wow.
Yeah. So whatever you do, whatever your plans are, and you think nothing can go wrong, something can go wrong no matter what you do.
No, I've had that happen before, but you roll with the punches.
Have you been to New Orleans?
Yes, I've been to New Orleans, I believe, at least 2 times, probably 3 times. I'm trying to guess. I went down there once with you girls, and we went through New Orleans. I was down there for a conference once.
I must have been itty bitty when we did that because I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, we got stuck in the elevator at the state capitol. The state capitol of Louisiana is an office building. It's not a nice domed building like a capitol is supposed to be. It's just kind of an office building. It looks like the, McKay Tower or something like that. So we get in this elevator, and the elevator's, going up, and it gets up to near the top. We were going to go up and take a look out the windows up there at the top, and it just stopped. And Mom was kind of freaking out, and I'm kind of like, the state capitol, what could, so we hit the alarm, and it had just tripped a fuse or something like that, and it was back running again in 5 minutes or something like that. But yeah, you were little. Do you remember going on vacation and seeing state capitals?
Did we take it again back down?
Yeah, we went straight down, didn't go back up in that elevator ever again. So, but yeah, I was expecting Hale Boggs to get in the elevator or something like that and come up with us or something.
I do remember that trip because you got me a pencil with a bunch of stones when we were in Arkansas, and I thought that was really cool. And because we got McDonald's Happy Meals like every day. And what else do you want when you're
Yes,
an
and
adult?
the Happy Deals were meals were so much cheaper in Texas than they were in Arkansas.
Mm,
It was like $3.30 in Arkansas, and they had a special going in Texas, and it was like $1.79 for a Happy Meal. I, you're not supposed to get one if you're an adult, but I was very tempted to go, yeah, 4 Happy Meals with all around. Give me those nuggets.
So what'd
Uh,
you think of New Orleans?
I most of New Orleans I like the church that you went to there, the King Louis Cathedral, whatever it is, their St.
Mhm,
Louis Cathedral was
mhm,
really very pleasant. We had great food there. I like seafood, and New Orleans is a great place to be for seafood.
mhm.
We had a nice motel there, and then I went to a conference there where I was there for the better part of a week, and
Wow.
I walked up and down the levees, and all I remember, everybody wanted to go to Bourbon Street.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of a mixed bag. The French architecture is stunning. It's beautiful. We
Mhm.
walked around every single day. Bourbon Street was, I don't know, not as advertised in books and movies. It was a little bit not as, I don't know what I was expecting, but not as clean. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I would have liked to have taken like a historic tour, where you get on one of the tours, and for a
Uh-huh,
couple of hours they take you around the city and
uh-huh.
show you the sights and whatnot. And I've always criticized the levees in New Orleans. I mean, if there was ever a place that was built on shifting sand or
Mhm,
sifting sand, whatever the biblical reference is, I mean, that's it. It's just
mhm,
a river delta with a lot of mud and silt, and eventually they're just going to get a really bad hurricane, and that's of course what
mhm.
happened with Katrina.
And I guess part of it was that it was hot and you don't feel as good walking around when it's hot. But I guess
Hmm.
between Bourbon Street and Las Vegas, I would pick Las Vegas.
Hmm. Yeah, neat.
Architecture was beautiful. It was actually the St. Louis feast day today,
Mhm.
August 25, as we're recording this. So we were there at the church at the right time.
Neat, neat.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'd still prefer Mackinac Island. I really liked it up there.
Mhm,
We do a lot of hiking and walking around when we go up there. I mean,
mhm,
we bicycled around the island this time. Maria and I walked around the island last time. So interesting.
mhm.
Well, good luck with the car.
Yeah, I
Sorry,
know. Yeah, yeah, that's
just that kind of stuff happens, and you got to deal with it.
yeah, still a whole thing. Okay, so what do we have to talk about today? So, speaking of problems with transportation, August 25, 1889, there was a stagecoach robbery in Michigan, and it is the last one in recorded history. The offender was a 22-year-old, and he boarded the stagecoach and demanded money, and a shootout ensued, and one of the passengers died. He was sentenced to life, but he only served 24 years, and after he was released, he opened a photo shop and even took a trip to Yellowstone to do photography.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Why would the people not turn over their money? I mean, if the guy's got a gun and he's shooting people, I would assume that that's probably a more reasonable alternative.
I don't know.
Did it say where it was
That is a
in
good
Michigan?
question. That did not come across in my research, so
Hmm, okay,
we don't
well,
know.
interesting. Okay.
Okay, August 25, 1908, the Reverend Chianki arrives in Grand Rapids. I didn't mean for that all to be capitals. And he arrived to serve the Italian speaking residents of Grand Rapids to grow the church, and he founded Our Lady of Sorrows Church. They started off in the basement of St. Andrews, which we talked about in a previous episode, is I think one of the oldest, maybe the oldest Catholic establishments in Grand Rapids, and then they grew quickly and started their own building in 1920. And then in 1922, they started a school as well, and the church is still located in the original location.
Excuse me just a second here. There is something scratching on the screen. Oh, Must be a critter out there of some kind.
Is it a
I know
bear?
the squirrel. I hope it's not a bear.
Chipmunk?
Wow. I maybe a chipmunk. Did the chipmunk get up that far? I didn't see anything. It's on the far window here, but I certainly heard something outside. Just so long as it's not a person. Um, Let me just get up and make sure the door is locked. I'll be right back.
Oh dear. Okay. Well, I don't know what stories I have to tell now that it's just us. Oh, he's back.
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're okay.
The cats have not moved, so the cats are not alarmed.
Mm.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, when there's
All
a
right, let
bug
me
in our
get
house,
back
yeah.
to Reverend Cianci here.
Mm.
I didn't read this as I was busy looking out the window.
Oh,
Arrived to save Italian-speaking residents of Grand Rapids.
Italian-speaking priest arrived in Grand Rapids, and that's how we got Our Lady of Sorrows Church. And I think there's so much to be learned from our religious history. I think so much of our history as people are told through our religious practices and development and services and things. So I think it's so important to include that in how we tell the story of Grand Rapids.
Well, and so many churches are really beautiful.
Mhm.
If you've ever been in the Saint Adalbert's, the Basilica on the west side of town, Sacred Heart,
Mhm.
St. Andrews, of course, is downtown. That's the one everyone is probably most familiar with.
Mhm.
St. Mary's, we go there every year for the Edelweiss Club Christmas concert,
Mhm.
which is really neat.
Mhm.
And Our Lady of Sorrows School started there. Interesting. And 52 students.
All right, here's your quiz question for the day. How many buses are part of the Grand Rapids Rapid Public Transit System?
You think daughter number one would know the answer to that?
So this includes the regular route buses, the dash buses, and the go buses.
The dash buses and the go buses.
Mm-hmm. Like, what is their fleet?
Okay, I'll guess 104.
Higher.
Higher?
Mm-hmm. Quite a bit higher.
Quite a bit higher. All right, 204.
Very close. 249.
Wow. Yeah, the 104 was a pretty low guess here.
Yep, 149
67
to serve
go buses,
this
huh?
route. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So those are to help people with special needs so that they can fully participate in the routes. And then
Mhm.
also seniors to help connect them with the routes and make sure that they're able to access the system.
Mhm.
And then the dash buses frequently operate around town. And I actually looked at that route. It looks like it would be really good to do if you wanted to do a tour of Grand Rapids. You could kind of use it like a hop on, hop off.
Mhm.
It goes around to all the cool places. And there's a walk I like to do. I like to park in the Ford Museum lot or at the
Mhm.
Grand Rapids Museum, and there's a lot right there as well. And then walk south a little bit and then east across past DeVos Place, past Calder Plaza and all that, and then back across the river. But it looks like you could do virtually the same thing and get to a few more places if you did the dash route instead.
Interesting. Yeah, well, the dash is a good thing to have. More people should utilize it. I don't know about
There you are.
Yes, indeed. That was
Yeah.
the fall picture, and we went downtown riding the bus, and it was easy.
Yeah.
I mean,
And the next time I'm in town, you and I have an errand to run downtown. So I was hoping that you would do this again with me.
sure.
So yeah, so now we know one of the 249 fleet that's a part of the Rapid will
Neat.
come and take us downtown.
Very cool.
All right, August 26, 1978, the song Grease from the movie Grease hit #1 on the charts. It was sung by this famed member of the Four Seasons.
Frankie Valli.
Yeah, did you know that he sang Grease?
No, that
Yeah.
didn't come to mind. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, the song comes to mind right now. Yes, but
Mhm.
everybody thinks of Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta from Grease.
Mhm.
And
And
the
I
music.
read that there was another song from Grease that also hit #1, but I don't know which one it was. Grease
Mhm.
Lightning would be my guess, but I don't know.
And Frankie Valli, is still hanging in there and doing well, from what I understand.
Mhm.
Uh,
All right. Comment from Harold. Hi, Bill. I really enjoy your show from Fort Myers, Florida, and I hope I did justice to where we put Fort Myers on the map. My
yeah,
wife
that's what it is.
and I moved from Kalamazoo in 1983. The traffic is horrible. The hurricanes have made homeowners insurance go through the roof. Once my wife retires, we're moving back to Michigan. I'm like you, love the 4 seasons. Down here, you have 2 seasons, dry and rainy. I heard you talk a little bit about Florida on your show and wanted to give you my thoughts. If we get a hurricane, I'll send you photos. So Harold does not think you're missing anything. Thank you for your input, Harold.
Yeah, Florida's it's interesting. My father went to Florida. He grew up in Chicago and went to Florida when he was 14 years old. And he said, "Golly, it's full of mosquitoes, and there was no air conditioning, and there were alligators running around everywhere." And he said, "I want to go back to Chicago. We just have the mafia to deal with. Nothing more dangerous than that."
Grandma and Grandpa Steffen sure were mobile for the era in which they lived. I hear these stories of all the places that they went.
Oh yeah, yeah, and of course, Dad was in the Army Air Corps, so he flew around. He flew in B-24s, B-25s, and it was interesting because even in his old age, when he got into his 80s, he still knew all the B's and the P's, and what plane did this and where went there. He spent, let's see, if I remember right, he went from Chicago to down in central Illinois and then to Missouri, and he went to North Carolina, Alabama, out to California, and he wound up spending a couple of years at Frederick Army Airfield in Oklahoma.
And I've heard you talk about how Grandma did singing on USO tours.
Yes, she was like the star of the show in the Chicago area. My mother, who lived to be 100 and a half, had a full ride scholarship for music and opera, but didn't take it because her mother didn't want her to move that far away from home. And so my mother went to work for the phone company and wound up taking music classes at Northwestern University. And she teamed up with the USO, and there were three of them, three women that did these shows, and they went all over the Chicago area. There was a man that owned a department store named Abe Fell in Winnetka, Illinois, and he was the one that kind of loaded everybody up, and they ran up to Fort Sheridan or Great Lakes Naval Training or out to Rockford where they were doing basic training. And my mother was a marvelous piano player and a marvelous dancer and a marvelous singer, and I'm none of those things. It's interesting how they say how that kind of stuff skips a generation. Now, my brother
play one song on the piano.
Well, yes, you've picked up on that very well, by the way, and so it's interesting to kind of look back at that. But there's a couple pictures of my mother, in these flowing gowns that you see in the movies from the 1940s and everything, and that was her. Matt Rogers.
Sunset at Stony Lake. Isn't that one beautiful?
Yes, indeed. That is an awesome picture. And we've talked about Stony Lake before. Beautiful lake. It comes on you pretty quick when you're driving down Lakeshore Drive. All of a sudden, there's this beautiful lake there, and there's a beach at the northwest corner of the lake, right by the road there, where you can swim and put a boat in, a kayak, and enjoy the lake. And there is Stony Lake. It is north of Muskegon, south of Pentwater, and pretty much right along Lake Michigan. It's not technically a connecting lake because the water does drop a couple of feet before it reaches Lake Michigan, I believe. But beautiful lake.
And look at that cloud.
What does it look like to you?
A scoop of ice cream?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Doesn't it look like a scoop of ice cream?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And of course, you see the dark gray color underneath, where it's in the shadow of the cloud. And,
looks pretty ominous.
Yeah, but it isn't. There's no fibrous top to it. I mean, it's not impossible. There could have been a drop or two coming out of that, but it would need to grow just a little bit to start producing some significant rain.
Well, thank you, Amy.
Nice Sunday drive.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed your Sunday drive.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Mullet Lake. We
Beautiful
talked about
spot.
Mullet Lake last night. Took Michigan Route 27 along the west side of Mullet Lake, coming back from Mackinac Island. Beautiful spot there with the pretty flowers.
And there we are again.
There's another picture. You can look in the distance, probably a couple of raindrops coming out of those clouds. But people still have their boats in. I mean, summer's not over yet. There's a lot of good boating in the month of September, and the water's usually warmer than it is in early June. So if you can hang on a little bit, we got a lot of nice days ahead here in September. From John Scully, some beautiful flowers here.
Yep, summer in bloom.
You know, it almost looks like a waterfall.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and the butterfly.
Yes, with the monarch butterfly there in the middle. The monarchs are starting to migrate already. I've seen several of them flying south. They've got a long way to go to get down to Mexico where they spend the winter.
And Crystal Lake.
That, I believe, is Crystal Lake, and I bet that's at the east end of the lake. The wind was coming down the lake from the northwest. Looks like the buoys are still in the water there. I spent, when you were up there, I spent about a half an hour watching a loon. There was virtually no wind, and the lake was dead calm. And the single loon would go underwater for like 45 seconds or a minute, or whatever, and then it would pop up like, 75 feet away from where it went under, and that's just what loons do. That's why they're called loony, I guess.
The Betsy Valley Trail is really one of the best kept secrets. I used to love going for runs, and I didn't cross-country ski while I was there. I went to Crystal Mountain and downhill skied, but you could cross-country ski there as well. But really a lovely trail to go running on. You've got the lake, you've got the woods, and it's never crowded.
Yeah, Benzie is a really nice place to be. It really is. A lot of people don't think of it. It's one of the smaller counties in Michigan, and one of the smallest in population too, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, John, for that picture.
Oh, and there's mine. I forgot I put that in there. That was the Gulf.
Oh, no kidding. The Gulf? We're around.
Gulfport.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, because New Orleans, they got a lot of swamp there. There's not a lot of sandy beaches, but Gulfport, Mississippi, yeah.
Yeah, so we had planned to stay in New Orleans the whole time. Had a beautiful time looking at the architecture, but I thought Bourbon Street was kind of meh. So we decided to drive out the second day and stick our toes in the sand. So that's what we did.
Neat. That's a great place to be. We've enjoyed going. We've like 3 or 4 times now. We've gone to Pensacola Beach, and we've gone like the first week in December, where the water's still mild, and if you hit a really warm day, it's okay to go swimming there. But most people, when they think of Florida in the wintertime, think of central and southern Florida, not northern Florida.
To put in a plug for Mississippi, I think it is the best kept secret in this whole country.
Really?
It's beautiful. It's not crowded. It's got beach. It's got the inland parts. It's really a lovely place. So if you do Florida all the time and you're looking for something a little bit different, try Mississippi. It's also probably on the less expensive end.
Yeah, especially in fall and early winter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, neat. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a nice pick.
Thanks.
Very nice. Wish I was there.
Yeah, I wish the trip had been a little less eventful, but it's okay.
Well, good luck getting the car back.
Yeah, I know, right?
I hope it turns out to be nothing more than just a leaky hose or something that can be replaced pretty quickly.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, this is life.
So where are you now? You're back home?
Yeah, the car is still in Mississippi.
So how did you get home?
We rented a car.
Oh, you rented a car. Okay, I was going to say.
So there were a couple ways it was going to play out. We had thought about borrowing the stepdaughter's car and hanging on to that and bringing it back, but she's got to get to work, so that doesn't really work. Yeah. And we were going to rent a car, but then you reserve a car and they don't always still have one. They can still sell out or not have what you reserved. So we went and rented it from Golden Triangle Airport, which is the airport that serves Starkville, and American just started service there, I think only maybe 6 months ago or so. So we got there, and if they hadn't had cars, we were going to get on a plane and fly to Dallas and fly from Dallas to Birmingham.
That's kind of weird. You're going west to go east?
Yes. Well, they only started the service, so they only are doing one flight to Dallas a day.
That's all?
Yeah, so if we'd gotten there and there'd been no seats, we would have been getting on a plane, but we didn't really pack for that. I didn't, because
Yeah.
when we fly, we just pack bare bones. But
Yeah.
it was a road trip, so we just threw everything in the car, so that wasn't really the best. Then they had one car, it's an electric. I like electrics. Okay, that's fine. So we rented a car. We take that car back tomorrow, and then the towing company tows our car in the morning to the dealership.
Oh.
Maybe we'll get a loaner from them. So, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, wish you the best.
Yeah. And as it is in our household, we have 3 people who share 2 cars
Mhm.
because having 3 cars for 3 people would just be way too much chaos. So we make it work with 3 people and 2 cars. And now it's 3 people and 1 car. So we'll see how this goes. Everybody's got to get to work.
Okay. Wow. Well, wish you the best. Like I said, I hope everything comes out okay for you and it's not too expensive.
Yeah, it's life. Everybody's got a story like this, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. A lot of good graphics once again. Appreciate you putting those on and leaving us with that wonderful picture here. Well, there's the picture of me with all the snow up there from July 22nd in Canada. Have yourself a fantastic day today, and thanks for staying with us till the end.